you ever done a book raffle in your classroom? It is such a fun way to build excitement about books. And it really helps your students become aware of the new books that are in your classroom library. Today, I want to chat with you about how to do book raffles in your classroom and why they can be so beneficial to your students. But first, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah, and I show up on this YouTube channel every Sunday night with read aloud tips and book ideas for you to use right away in your classroom. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, give this video a thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button, and let's chat about book raffles. So I originally got this idea for book raffles from Donalyn Miller's Reading in the Wild. And she talks about creating book buzz in your classroom, building that excitement for new books and showing students how much you love books and really encouraging them to read more in the classroom. And not only encouraging them to read more, but to read more widely as well and to try out different books, different genres, different authors. So let's get started with how to run a book raffle in your classroom. First, you want to order new books for your classroom. You can do this in a variety of different ways. You could use Scholastic book orders, you could go to used book sales. I have a whole list of ideas in this video, and I'll leave a link to that in the description box down below as well about how to get new books for your classroom without spending a lot of money. But when you are getting new books, you want to make sure that you're getting books that your students are interested in and that they want to see in the classroom library. So in order to do this, what I would do is I created these small forms that I would leave in my classroom library, and it just says library order form on it, and students could write down titles of books or book series or authors that they would be interested in seeing in our classroom library that wasn't already there. They were just requesting different books that they wanted to read. And so they would just drop this in a bin or hand it to me, and I would collect them, so that way when it was time to order new books, or I had enough bonus points from Scholastic, I didn't have to scramble and think about what books do they want. I had a whole list right here. And I can leave a link to these in the description box down below where you can download these book order forms for free to use in your classroom. And you could also do it in a more simple way. You could just have a big sign-up sheet in your library, and the students could write the title, author, or series they're interested in. And if they wanted to, they can write their name and the date that they requested it, and you can just bring this form with you when you are ready to get new books for your classroom library. So now that you have the books, they've come in and you're ready to share them with your class. Instead of just sticking them right in the library where the students might not see them, might not know about them, or even what they're about, we're gonna do a book raffle instead. So when my students were about to come into the classroom, whether it was from the beginning of the day or they were coming back from lunch, I would have all the books laid out on a table with the raffle ticket containers behind them. And the first time we did this, they were really intrigued. By the third or fourth time, they knew it was happening, but they were so excited about it because they knew it meant book raffle time and that we had new books for our library. So I have all these books lined up. I have raffle ticket bins behind each book. What I would then do when it was time, when the kids couldn't wait any longer, I would go through each book and I would either do a quick book talk on them or read the blurb on the back so they knew the title of the book, the author, and a basic gist of what the book was about. And I would really sell the books and really get excited about them so that it built their enthusiasm for the books as well. So now that the students knew all about each one of the books, I would explain that I was raffling off the chance to read the book first, not to keep it. So you gotta be clear on that. You have to make sure students know that they're not keeping the book, that they are just getting the chance to read it first before returning it to the classroom library. Then they would each get a raffle ticket to put their name on. A simple slip of paper works as well. So you can just have them write their names on the slips of paper. You can decide if you want each student to have just one slip of paper, if you want them to put their name into each bin for any book that they want. And I also give the option, if you're not interested in any of the books, that's fine. You don't need to enter the raffle. But once I've done the book talks and really sold the books, usually most students would enter the raffle. And then students would come up with their raffle tickets and put them in the bin of the book that they were interested in reading first. And we would raffle off the chance. I would pull a slip of paper from the bin to see who would be the first person to read each of the brand new books. So there were also a couple stipulations. Each student could only win one book at a time. So if I was raffling off 8 books, each student could only have one of those books at a time. It wasn't fair if one student got 2 or 3 of the books, but they could enter the next raffle. They had a certain amount of time, depending on the length of the book, to read it and return it to the classroom so that other students could read it, because at this point, everyone is clamoring to get one of these books. And you can decide once students have returned the book if you want to raffle it off again, or if you just want to stick it right in your library at that point. But I suggest raffling it off again because it builds that excitement, and the scarcity factor there really gets them excited about wanting to read the book. And these book raffles I would do every month or so, depending on when I got new books for the library. Sometimes I only had 2 or 3 books to raffle off. Sometimes we had a huge Scholastic order and I would have 15 books to raffle off. But either way, students got so into it. It was such a fun and engaging way to get them excited about books and to help them see which books were in our classroom library, which ones they had access to, which ones their classmates and their friends were reading. And it really helped build that reading community in our classroom. And the more excited that you are and the more you sell those books and promote the book raffle, the more excited they're going to be and the more invested they are going to be in their reading throughout the school year. So I would love for you to try out a book raffle in your classroom, and if you do, leave a comment down below letting us know how it went and how much your students really enjoyed it. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, give it a thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button down below, and I'll be back next week with more read aloud tips and book ideas for you to use in your classroom right away. Have a great week.